First we have Andrea and her black lab Otis walking down a sidewalk with grass on either side. Otis is attentive as he and Andrea wait for the elevator door to open. Andrea and Otis reach the landing with more open staircase above and to the left of them. Water reflects the trees and skies behind them as Andrea and Otis stand by the railing. Otis takes notice but is unaffected as they encounter a black cat on the sidewalk. Congratulations, Otis's Razors, the Trapp family, and Cheryl and Don Matzik. This is Fatima and her yellow lab, Brody, walking down an urban sidewalk. Upon returning to the White Plains facility, Fatima thanks Brody for a job well done. Fatima and Brody cross through a wide intersection between faded white lines. On a sunny day, Fatima and Brody walk into the shadows of a tree on the sidewalk. We see a wide intersection and a long city street as the two wait at the corner to cross. Congratulations, Brody's Razors, Laura Hamilton and Cindy and Stu Chait. This is Israel and his black lab, Floyd, walking very quickly through a white painted crosswalk. Floyd leads Israel past a tall building with a variety of obstacles jutting out to their left. Israel and Floyd maneuver easily around a number of pedestrians as they reach the street corner. The new team steps up onto a textured edge of a city street corner. Israel and Floyd are approaching the curb as they cross the street. Congratulations, Floyd's Razors, the Panton family, Dana Matheny and Anna Nalla, and the Veris family. Now we have Jack and his yellow lab, Adonis, walking quickly down a city street. Adonis leads Jack around plantings and a change of surfaces at a sidewalk corner. Jack reclines on the couch as Adonis waits at the ready to hear of their next adventure. Adonis turns to check in with Jack as they reach the wide brick edging of a curb. At the grooming bench, Adonis is stretched out and relaxed as Jack brushes him. Congratulations, Adonis's Razors, Peggy and Jeff Rouse. Now we have Joseph and his black lab, Yates, walking confidently down a sidewalk. Joe and Yates walk down a quiet tree-lined road where a low curb meets the grass. The new team approaches the curb as they safely cross a wide street. Yates leads Joe down a wide paved area laid out in a pattern of rectangular sections. From their right, we see Joe and Yates walking down a residential street with a bright green lawn beyond them. Congratulations, Yates Razors, the Myers family. Now this is Kay and her black lab, Fuji, avoiding obstacles to their left on the sidewalk. Fuji leads Kay expertly through an area of varying surfaces. Fuji turns and looks up at Kay before they proceed from the curb into the intersection. Kay and Fuji safely cross the street and approach the curb ahead. From behind them, we see Kay and Fuji are safely approaching an intersection. Congratulations, Fuji's Razors, Bobby and Jim Havel. This is Mark and his German Shepherd Rowan walking down the residential street of a seaside town. Beautiful blue ocean is their backdrop as Mark and Rowan walk down wet, sandy beach. During a break from training, Rowan happily lays on the floor with his tongue out as Mark sits in a chair behind him. Rowan leads Mark towards us on a residential street without sidewalks. As they sit near a sunny window, Mark leans forward and gets a big kiss from Rowan. Congratulations, Rowan's razor, Yvonne Rugg. This is Matthew and his yellow lab, Tanner, walking through a wide area of patterned pavement. The new team walks confidently down a residential sidewalk on a warm, sunny day. Matt and Tanner are safely entering into a white-painted crosswalk, and we see traffic beyond them. Tanner leads Matt down a narrow walkway with plantings and a stone fencing to their left. At the entrance to the White Plains facility, Matt and Tanner celebrate the end of a good training run. Congratulations, Tanner's razors, Paul and Cindy Swift. This is Patricia walking down a city sidewalk with her yellow lab, Nettie. Standing on the brick edging of the sidewalk, Trish and Nettie look to each other to check in. Trish and Nettie walk safely down a sidewalk past the lamppost, parking meter, and a tree. Trish is all smiles as she experiences walking down a sidewalk with her new partner, Nettie. Trish and Nettie have come through the crosswalk and are about to step up onto the curb. Congratulations, Nettie's razor, Tanya Cole. Now this is Ray Scott and his black lab, Zed, walking down the sidewalk of a residential area. We see the city and traffic beyond them as the new team safely approaches the end of the crosswalk. Zed gladly takes a treat from Scott as they reach the red textured edge of the curb. From their left side, we see Zed turning to check in at the edge of the crosswalk. Scott and Zed walk confidently down a residential sidewalk with grass on either side. Congratulations, Zed's razors, Kevin and Wendy Flynn and Wesley Hutchins. Now we see Robert and his black lab, Anchor, walking down a city street. As Anchor's front paws hit the edge of the raised curb, he turns to check in with Robert. Bob and Anchor walk confidently down the street, along a wall of reflective windows. Anchor safely leads Bob across the street as a car waits at the light. Bob and Anchor pass through the crosswalk under the watchful eye of the trainer. Congratulations, Anchor's razor, Marcia Pilot. This is Rocco and his black lab, Gidget, passing through the white stripes of the crosswalk. Gidget waits patiently as Rocco has his hand in the treat pouch after reaching the curb. An onlooker takes notice of the confident new team as they approach the intersection. Rocco and Gidget navigate safely through a wide area of pavement that changes elevation. From up ahead, we see Rocco and Gidget approaching the shadowy edge of the brick sidewalk. Congratulations, Gidget's razors, Deb Dick, Anya Zimmerman, Sherry and Dave Lucier, and Raquel Ayala. This is Sarah and her yellow lab, Vince, walking on a patterned brick surface adjacent to a marina. Sarah sits at a table on a brick terrace as Vince lies patiently at her feet. Sarah and Vince walk down a sidewalk with grass on either side and buildings in the background. Sarah sits at a desk using a computer while Vince stretches out on the floor below her. It's a happy trio as Sarah poses with retired guide Jax and new guide Vince. Congratulations, Vince's razor, Linda Johnson. Now we have Sue Ellen and her black lab, Enya, walking through a crosswalk on a residential street. In a large grassy area, Enya waits with anticipation as Sue Ellen holds up a colorful ball. Enya leads Sue Ellen safely where one sidewalk meets the other. Here Enya receives a treat for good behavior in the pet store. In a happy close-up of the new team, Sue Ellen smiles while Enya looks straight towards the camera. Congratulations, Enya's Razor, Susan A. Diet. Now we have Tamika and her yellow lab, Treble, approaching the rounded corner of the sidewalk. We see blue skies and the city buildings behind them as the new team learns to work together. At the edge of the curb, Treble looks to Mika as she reaches for a treat. Mika and Treble are focused as they head down a city street. Treble leads Mika to the edge of the curb after successfully and safely crossing the street. Congratulations, Treble's Razor, Daniela Del Buso. This is Veronica and her black lab, Apache, walking down a street with many obstacles to their right. Veronica and Apache check in with each other before entering into the brick crossing. We see the city beyond them as the new team approaches the curb from the crosswalk. Veronica and Apache travel confidently down the sidewalk despite plantings, parking meters, and manhole covers. Apache leads Veronica safely through a business area with many different surfaces. Congratulations, Apache's Razors, Mel Ingalls and Lena Nurk, and the Joint family. In the class portrait, the graduates are seated with their guides in front of them and the trainers behind them. We thank this month's sponsors for their generosity. Dan Bernstein and Jeff Lustig are proud to be a sponsor of this wonderful event. We wish you the best as you begin a wonderful and independent life. Congratulations to the new guide dog teams on your graduation and best wishes as you move forward, Dan and Jeff. In memory of Cindy Chait, Brody's puppy raiser, Cindy's family would like to congratulate all the May 2019 graduates and the raisers of these wonderful dogs. Monroe Puppy Raising Region. Congratulations to every graduate, guide dog, and puppy raiser, with special recognition to Adonis and his raisers, Peggy and Jeff Rouse, and Yates and his raisers, Stephanie and Neil Myers. We wish you all many miles of fun-filled adventures. Capital Puppy Raising Region. To special name a future Guiding Eyes puppy, visit us at guidingeyes.org and click How to Help. We gratefully acknowledge the Fain family for their support of our online streaming capabilities. We finish with the blue and white logo of Guiding Eyes for the Blind. Congratulations, graduates! We start with the blue and white logo.
Good afternoon, and welcome to all those in attendance here, as well as those at-home viewers via YouTube watching our live stream. Welcome to the graduation of the May 2019 class. First off, let's have a round of applause for Michelle Munier, who puts together the slideshow, and Kim Hansen, who takes all the photos. My name is Jolene Hollister. I've had the distinct pleasure of being the class supervisor for this group for the month. Today we recognize 16 teams graduating from our residential, home training, as well as our specialized training programs. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the graduates. First up, from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Israel Cazares Zarita and Floyd. From Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, Veronica Kanya and Apache. From Jamaica, New York, Matthew Brown and Tanner. From Groton, Connecticut, Scott Skinner and Zed. From Federal Way, Washington, Mika White and Treble. From St. Louis, Missouri, Kay Malmquist and Fuji. And from Nashville, Tennessee, Rocco Fiorentino and Gidget. From Houston, Texas, Joe Fleeks and Yates. From Brampton, Ontario, Canada, Fatima Kaler and Brody. From San Diego, California, Trish Connolly and Nettie. And from Easton, Mass, Jack Duffy Pretentis and Adonis. I for a minute thought I said the wrong place, Jack. That was actually the right place. And although he's not joining us here today, we also had a 12th student here for most of class, hopefully joining us via YouTube today in Frankfort, Kentucky, Bob Arnold and Anchor. That's all right. Being trained, graduating through our specialized training program in Spokane, Washington, Andrea Goddard and Otis. They were home trained by specialized training instructor Julie Angle. Graduating from our home training program in Wells, Maine, Mark St. Ange and Rowan, home trained by Director of Home Training Jim Gardner. Also home trained through our specialized training program in Baltimore, Maryland, Sarah Nellinson and Vince, home trained by specialized training instructor Andrea Martini. And last but not least, today we recognize in Louisville, Kentucky, Sue Ellen Mello and Enya, home trained by specialized training instructor Susan Croha. And now at this time, I'd like to turn the program over to our president and CEO, Thomas Panic.
Good job. Good job. Well, welcome everybody to Guiding Eyes to the Blind. It's a beautiful day. Really happy that you could all join us. Congratulations to class. Shout out to Joe at home. Joe can't speak back to me or talk back to me, so I'm just going to say something. The other day we were in the hallway together, and I said, you know, Joe, you've had guide dogs longer than I've been alive. And he said some wonderful words in his Kentucky accent that if we have children in the room, I can't repeat. So anyway, congratulations, Joe. We miss you. And for the rest of us here, it's really an exciting day. Obviously, a lot has come to make this day possible. And I was reflecting on a little bit about all of you. And I really encourage the audience, the raisers, the people online, the fosters, the donors, to read these bios. Get to know your students. What an amazing diversity of people from all walks of life coming together to receive a guide dog, to be on with their next adventure. I'm so impressed and proud of you, class, when I read what you've accomplished in your personal lives, professionally, and about what you're about to embark on. It's incredible. It's truly incredible. You know, we have a very great graduation coming up. We're going to hear from first-time guide dog user, Israel. We're also going to get some musical entertainment. I'm looking forward to that as well. And it's going to be a great day, so thank you for that. One of the things that I realize after 5 years of being the president and CEO is we have it all backwards. Now, I'm telling you the truth here. We think that we're a guide dog training school. The truth is that the dogs are training the humans. Now, hear me out on this for a second. I'm carrying around a treat pouch with me. He's trained me to give him treats whenever he wants to. Okay, so he sits into it. Second thing, I get to work. He sleeps under my desk. I work all day, he gets to sleep, right? I'm following him around, our dogs, and they get to use the bathroom wherever they want, and we have to clean up after them too, right? Right? Am I telling the truth, guys? I think they have us trained. I really do. I really do think anybody who has a dog or a puppy realizes that they actually train humans rather than us training them. He gets to eat before I get my coffee. When I get home, at the end of the day, I get to feed him before I get to eat. So I'm telling you, this is not a guide dog training school. This is a people training school that happens to have dogs. So. But it takes a lot of people coming together to make it happen, especially the raisers, and a lot of people donating too, and giving selflessly of their pocketbook to support us. And people come up with some very creative ways to support the school. In Richmond, Virginia, Amber arranged a 5K with the Richmond region, which I happened to be at and ran, so thank you, Amber, for that. We also had a benefit concert that was done by Dan Bernstein and Jeff. So thank you so much. Dan happens to be a brother-in-law of Susan Ludwig, our controller, but thank you. A warm round of applause to Dan and Jeff who are watching online. And then oftentimes, as you all know, the regions do have an opportunity to sponsor. So thank you so much to the Capital Region for sponsoring, and especially in honor of Adonis and Yates today. So it's wonderful to have that sponsorship. It's amazing when people can come together and really make a difference. If you're from the Capital Region, and I know the Rouses are from there as well as the Myers, hello online, but the Rouses are in the room, so can you please stand up to have a warm round of applause? Thank you very much, Peggy and Jeff. The other sponsor is in honor of Cindy Chait. We'll hear a little bit more about that in a moment, in memory of her and what she's done for the school and made such a tremendous difference in the lives of people who are blind. And I just wanted to thank both her husband, Stu, and sister here, Linda, today for honoring her in memory of sponsoring graduation. So thank you so very, very much. Really appreciate it. Now, I have a special privilege today of being able to introduce a board member of Guiding Eyes for the Blind. For many of you that are not familiar with the Guiding Eyes Board of Directors, they are all volunteers. They're individuals with expertise that ranges from investment finance to communications to branding. They all come together once a quarter to really help move the school forward, not only with strategic vision, but also guidance. And we have a great honor of having a board member with us who really leads communication. And if you've seen some of the things that have been accomplished in terms of our ability to be in the media and press, to tell the stories of all of you after you go home, I have to say that really that's because of one person's very hard work. This individual drove 3 hours today to be here with us. And also, if you are a lover of any NBC shows, or if you want to put a pilot out there, he'd be the guy to talk to. Please welcome very warmly my good friend Corey Shields. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It's great to be here today. It's actually my first graduation. I'm a little embarrassed to tell you that, but I'm thrilled to be here today. And congratulations to all of the graduates. Today's a very special day, not only for the graduates, but for all of us in the Guiding Eyes family, all of the staff, the instructors, the handlers, the puppy raisers, the donors, the volunteers, to everyone who helped out today to get these graduates to this place. Thank you very much. I wanted to just share a little bit about how I got to be part of the Guiding Eyes family. In 2008, I adopted my first release dog, Molly, And, it's funny. We lost Molly a couple years ago. It still chokes me up every time I talk about her. So I'll get through this. But anyway, Molly was a golden retriever. And the more I fell in love with Molly, the more I got to admire and appreciate what Guiding Eyes did. You can't help but have a relationship with one of these dogs and not think about the organization that made this dog so special and so unique. So Molly was my first, and then a couple years ago, 2016, I adopted my second release dog. And while Molly never made it to graduation, Leah, the black lab, did. She graduated, so she was here in this room. She was a guide dog in Toronto, and unfortunately, she retired early, and I was lucky enough to get her. So today, both of them, I left them both out at the beach. I have another dog as well, and I was sharing that Leah, while she's so smart, she absolutely does not like the water, doesn't like the beach at all. I take her to the beach. She'll say hello to everyone on the sand, but won't go anywhere near the water. And Molly just absolutely loved the water. She would never get out of the water. But anyway, I continue to be amazed by what this organization does. I'm so proud to be a member of the board, and I'm always amazed at Tom's dedication and leadership in this organization. We're very, very lucky to have him. And congratulations again to all the graduates. As I said, I'm happy to be here, my first one, and I'm so thrilled to be joining you all today.
Thank you, Tom and Corey. Before I turn it over to Kathy, I would like to make one public service announcement. We did plan ahead. There are several boxes of tissues located throughout the room. Should you need them, they're not far away. So Kathy Zubricki, our Vice President of Training Programs.
Thank you, Joe, and I promise not to make you cry. At least I don't think I will. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's graduation, where we come together to celebrate the many people who made today possible. And every time I come to a graduation, the word extraordinary comes to mind. And extraordinary is defined as going beyond what is usual or customary. It's also synonymous with remarkable, astonishing, and amazing. And I mention this because this room is full of extraordinary people. And I'd like to ask all our puppy raisers to please stand up so we can acknowledge you. You are truly extraordinary in every sense of the word. By raising a Guiding Eyes for the Blind puppy, you've gifted a blind person with the freedom of choice, the freedom to choose to go where they want to go, when they want to go, and be dependent on no one else except themselves and their guide dog. And that is as powerful a gift as it is impactful. And we are grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank the instructors for this month's class. Joe, Alyssa, Dan, and Amy, you have done a masterful job. Need I say more? Preparing these graduates for success, and you should be as proud of the work that you've done as we are of you. And again, thank you for all your efforts. Nick Speranza is our running guide specialist, and this month he helped Joe experience what it's like to go out running with his guide dog Yates. And again, freedom of choice, right? Because if Joe wants to go out on a run, he doesn't have to wait for a sighted person to take him. He can go with his dog on his own. Nick couldn't be here today, but Nick, wherever you are, again, a very warm thank you for all you've done, and all your efforts are always appreciated. Thank you, Nick. And as you can imagine, there are many moving parts to running a 3-week training program. And Kim, where's Kim? Oh, as the instructor's assistant. Thank you for all you've done to keep the moving parts moving in the right direction. It's no small feat. Thank you, Kim. And to the May graduating class, a very, very heartfelt, sincere thank you. Thank you for choosing Guiding Eyes for the Blind. Thank you for having the faith and trust in us that we would provide you with the best dog to meet your needs as a guide, a companion, and a partner. Your trust is something we treasure, and we have been honored, privileged, and delighted to have been able to share in this adventure with you. So on behalf of the entire Guiding Eyes staff here in Patterson and all our remote staff, congratulations and our very best wishes for your every continued success. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Now it's time to shift gears just a bit and hear a bit from our graduates. First up is Israel Cazares Zarita. And the answer to your question is under the podium.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. It's extremely important for all of us that you're here today. And as a class, we are honored to have you. So from our puppy raisers to all of you who make this day possible, thank you so much. It's my first guide dog. I didn't know what to expect. I came to Guiding Eyes expecting basically the unexpected. Floyd, as you guys can see, is a very curious little boy. He was ready to give the speech before Tom was, so he was crawling out of his chair, so he was excited for that. But he is honestly the perfect dog for me. He's curious, he's energetic, he's ready to go when I am, and I just love him for it. And the expectation for me was, well, I have seen other people handle their guide dogs, and it would be my first opportunity to handle one. Because as my classmates know, those of you that have had guide dogs before, handling a guide dog or watching somebody else handle a guide dog is completely different than you doing it yourself, right? Like Tom said, they do train us to feed them. That is very true. So I came here without really knowing what to do. And I thank my trainer, Amy, who worked with us and answered some of my most ridiculous and mundane questions from Amy. What do I do with my right hand? Because all of a sudden I'm not holding a cane. I did ask her that. And it was from those moments to the moments where we started becoming independent as a team, where we came back from a route in White Plains, New York, and Amy told us, hey, did you realize that you finished that route on your own? That was for me, that was one of the first magical moments that I really experienced with Floyd. And from then on, our relationship just grew, our partnership grew. I feel like I'm ready to trust this dog, and I hope he trusts me because I feed him. So then we went to New York, and Manhattan Day was an unbelievable experience, navigating through Grand Central Station, pausing, and then having Jolene say, did you know you just crossed Grand Central Station without bumping a single person? That almost made me cry. But I was able to control myself, so we got it through. So to all my classmates, it's been an absolute honor to share these memories with you, memories that we will hold forever, whether it's your first guide dog like myself, or whether it's your sixth guide dog. Each opportunity is new, each journey is new, and our journey with our new companions is barely beginning. And I just want to remind my classmates that these puppies were born at the perfect time, in the perfect place, to be with you, their perfect match. Thank you.
I'm not crying yet. Okay. So.
Where are my tissues?
Right here.
Please, thank you. I was reaching behind me going, where are they?
Okay. Now, please bear with us for just a couple seconds when I'm going to ask the three guests we have near the piano to kind of shift out of there, because our next, act, as it so be, takes a little readjustment, including moving microphones. So Alyssa, Amy, Dan are going to help Mika, Matt, and Rocco to the back corner where, well, I'm just going to let it speak for itself because I can't do it any justice. Unfortunately for you viewers watching on YouTube, due to potential copyright infringement, the sound will be muted. I'm sorry. Please hold. We will be back with you as soon as we're done. Mika's in here. I told you, it's kind of a process. Matt? Your microphone, my dear.
Thank you.
And Mika. There you be.
Okay, we just wanted to say as a class that we want to thank the entire Guiding Eyes family, from the puppy raisers all the way to up to the trainers and everybody in between, for because of you, we are going out there as conquerors today. I'm going to try to get through this without crying. Give me 1 second, Rocco. Okay, sorry. Yes.
Just for you, Matt, Mika, and Rocco, I couldn't see the front of the room when you were finished. Everyone was standing. Greg, do you happen to have batteries? I've got a colored light up here that isn't normally that color. Please hold. That's why we have 3. All right. So I caught Veronica listening to them practice in the hallway the other night, and she said, "Please tell me I speak before them." And I had to say sorry. But I believe she can do it. Please welcome Veronica Kanya.
Where is that thing? Here it is. Hello, welcome everyone. I'm not an emotional person. Usually, I'm really not. I'm used to doing speeches. I'm on my 4th tissue already. That was really beautiful. That was amazing. Just 1 second. All right, here we are. There you are. Thank you, everyone, for being here. The first time I heard of Guiding Eyes for the Blind in New York was 19 years ago. And it was a few months after I lost the rest of my sight, and my mobility trainer in Winnipeg, she told me about this organization because it was clear that the cane and we didn't have a long-standing relationship. I hated it, I resented it, I was ashamed of it, I was embarrassed. It represented everything that went wrong. You know, being at that age, I was 23 years old, and the retinas detached in both of my eyes within 6 months of each other. And so I was legally blind for about 1.5 years, and then the rest of it went within 2 weeks. And me being a dog person and my family always having had dogs, it was the natural thing to do, to apply for a guide dog. I didn't know what to expect. My family's from Hungary, and we're kind of like, if anyone has seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, you know, Hungarians are like that. So I didn't know what to expect. It was very, very different. You know, this is a dog that, you know, listened and did everything you told it to do. It didn't hate other dogs, and, you know, it was amazing. So I have come here 19 years ago in July, year 2000, and everyone except one person was getting their first dog. These were all young kids, 17, 18-year-olds heading off to college. And one of the trainers told us that one of the things that was going to happen is that it was going to turn this negative thing, blindness, into something positive. It was going to take the focus off of you and blindness, and it will be about the dog. And that's exactly what happened. And I was in university. I remember, you know, walking down the hallways, and people remembered me. And I guess they saw me before the cane. And when I was walking down with the cane, I heard, "Aw," you know, there was a lot of sympathy, of course. And then when I got Pam, a female black Labrador, gorgeous as hell, of course, it has become, "Aw." Once in a while, also the noise of someone, you know, body flattening himself or herself against the wall. Some people were afraid of dogs, but you know, there's a sick side of me because I kind of like that. Some people are afraid of large black dogs, you know. What are you gonna do? My second dog, Winfrey, a really beautiful German Shepherd female, When she has retired, roughly about 2.5 years ago, I told myself, it's time to, really be independent and, get reacquainted with that cane, because I didn't really work with it that long. I right away got my dog, Pam, when the rest of my functional vision went. And it was kind of, I lied to myself, of course, because as the board member Corey said, they're more than just a mobility aid, these dogs. You have a true relationship with them. They mean so much more to us. And I was living alone, so I couldn't have two dogs. So give me a second, it's emotional. Anyways, the call came at the perfect time to get my third guide, Apache. This really, and once again, they keep on giving me these beautiful dogs. He's a really handsome boy, as you can see. And one of the trainers, he told me that, the difference between working with Labradors and German Shepherds is, he compared it to driving vehicles. And he said, working with Labradors is kind of like driving a Jeep or an SUV, like you can drive over any terrain. Shepherds, they're like German Shepherds, they're more like driving a limousine. You glide, it's really smooth. And that's true. That's really, really true. With Winfrey, it was really smooth and she was gliding. It was a very different feeling working with her than with Pam. So using that comparison, Apache, he's like a really powerful sport car. I'm tempted to call him, Apache Lamborghini. Like, this dog takes off. I mean, there's power in this dog. It's amazing. And so I was coming here, expecting, hopefully to get my third guide dog, because as everyone who has a guide dog, I'm sure we all have the same worries, like, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to really mess up this time. They're going to take my dog away. They won't let me graduate. So I was hoping to come here and get my third guide dog. And I know the 2 times before I have come here, you meet some amazing people, both trainers and people like Kim. And yes, some of your classmates. But something was just different about this class this time. I don't know what it was exactly. I don't know, but, a group is made out of individual people. But the group dynamics, something that every single person has brought to this class, these guys, in my eyes, they're my heroes. It's... Grab your tissues, Matt. It's just amazing. This group of people, they really touched me. They really touched me. We have people, we have mothers, we have fathers, we have visually impaired blind mothers who raise severely disabled children. We have, mothers who are partially deaf and blind, fathers, technical geniuses, musicians. We have musicians, and you've only heard 3 of them. We have more than that. We have motivational speakers. We have martial artists. We have one who has been on the other side. He has flatlined before. And we have a music producer. Some really genius people in this class. And so, the other thing I want to say is that when Winfrey has retired and I had to train with the cane again, one of the places I go to often is the Winnipeg Health Sciences Center, very large and complex building. Very rarely is there a 90-degree turn in that place. Most places are like bubble-shaped and balloon-shaped and very decorative, visually very appealing seating area in the middle of the hallway. It looks very pretty. So But I have taken mobility lessons with the cane for about 3 months, about 2.5 years ago, and I can get around there all by myself, make it to the lab, the transplant unit. I had two organ transplants a few years back, and I can do it with the cane. But I'm tracing the wall, like a little lost spider. I'm every little crevices and nooks, and I find every hole in the building, and people sitting on the hallway chairs and waiting. And at first it's genuine, it's like, sorry, really sorry. And after a while, it's like, sorry about that. But I learned to get around. And the last time I went there alone was the week before I came here. And like always, several people stop and ask me if I need hand, because I do look like I'm lost. And the first one that came around, I decided to take it because I was in a rush and I insist on being independent and doing things by myself. But I took her arm, and she was one of the workers there. I've never met her before. And she told me, I see you all the time. I remember you coming here with your dog, and for the last 2 years with your cane, and you look so much happier, so much prouder, you have bounce in your step when you walk with your dog. And that's from an observer's, that's from an outsider's standpoint of view. And as my classmates and anyone who has a guide dog knows, it's a different kind of walk that we do when we walk with these dogs. And it seems like a small thing. It's not. It's not a small thing. And every single one of you inside the organization, who contributes, who works here, who volunteers, who donates, puppy raisers, you all make it possible that all of us, people like us in this class, we're going home with our guide dogs. It means so much more to us. And I just want to finish with a quote from my favorite. He's a Sufi poet. He's been gone long time ago. His name is Rumi. I don't know if anyone heard of him. But it says, do not be satisfied with the stories that have come before you. Unfold your own myth. Thank you very much.
I told you we planned ahead. Had to stock up. Thank you, Veronica. That was beautiful. Now, no graduation would be complete without acknowledging the puppy raisers that put their heart and soul into these dogs up here. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Bethany Oliver, regional manager from our pup program, to make the presentation of the puppy raisers.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Guiding Eyes for the Blind Canine Development Center, I would like to extend our sincere and heartfelt congratulations to the May graduating class. I'd like to thank our team of over 1,400 volunteers, our dedicated staff, and generous donors who all play an important part of the journey of a Guiding Eyes puppy. From broodstead foster families, early socializers, home litter care providers, puppy sitters, regional coordinators, kennel and administrative volunteers, both here in Yorktown and in Paterson, tour leaders, and ambassadors. It truly takes a village to raise a puppy. And finally, I would like to thank our puppy raisers who give the ultimate gift of bringing an 8-week-old bundle of fur into their home and loving it, caring for it, staying up all night when it's sick, and then giving it back so it can go on to change someone's life. If you are a volunteer in any of the areas that I mentioned, I ask that you please stand so that we can give you a well-deserved round of applause. I'd like to take a moment to just share a few words about one of our longtime volunteers, Cindy Chait, who unfortunately passed away earlier this year. Cindy and Stu, her husband, started raising for Guiding Eyes back in 1994. Since then, they raised 25 dogs, one of which was Brody, who is graduating today. And Cindy served as our regional coordinator for the Monroe region for 20 years. which, being an RC, put her at the front lines of interacting with the many raisers who came through the Monroe region. When I started raising in 2008, I was welcomed with open arms by Cindy when I went to observe the first puppy class in Monroe. She acted like we had known each other forever, even though I'd only interacted with her over the phone a few times. Her genuine smile and kind words were so warm, but also what I remember noticing was not only the love that she had for the dog she was raising, but for every single dog that was in that region and every person that she came into contact with. When I first puppy sat a dog before getting my first puppy to raise, I literally called Cindy every single day. I had that dog for 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure we had a conversation for the first week and a half. And no matter how dumb sounding or weird the question was for her about this dog, Cindy never sounded frustrated, annoyed, or irritated that I was calling her. She always answered calmly and reassured me that what I was doing was okay and that everything was going to work out in the end. She coached me and guided me with patience and kindness. How Cindy treated me was how she treated every single person that she came into touch with. Every volunteer, every donor, every graduate she treated as they were her best friend. Cindy was one of a kind and is greatly missed. She will forever be in my heart, and I know the hearts of everybody who has met her. So I personally really, like I said, she's the one who started me on this journey, and I literally would not be here today if it wasn't for Cindy. So to her family who's here today, know how much she means to me. All right, so now it's time for your photograph and certificate of the dog that you raised. I'm going to ask that one member from each puppy raising family come up to grab your certificate and photo. All right, so we're going to start off with Guiding Eyes for the Blind Adonis, raised by Peggy and Jeff Rouse from the Capital New York region. Guiding Eyes Anchor was raised by Marcia Pilek from Cleveland West. She was not able to be here today. Guiding Eyes Apache had multiple raisers. Sometimes we have a few different people who participate in the raising of a pup. So first we have Mel Ingalls and Lena Nurk from New Hampshire. They were not able to be here today. Also from New Hampshire, raising Apache, we have the Joint family. Also not able to be here today. And also from New Hampshire, raising Apache, we have Anna Coleman. Also not able to be here today. Guiding Eyes Brody was raised by Laura Hamilton in Monroe, New York. Also raising Brody, Cindy, and Stu Chait, and receiving the certificate today will be Stu. Guiding Eyes Floyd was raised by the Panton family from Richmond, Virginia. They were not able to be here today. Also raising Floyd, Dana Matheny and Anna Anala, sorry. And also raising Floyd, the Vieras family from Lower Westchester. They were not able to be here today. Guiding Eyes Fuji was raised by Bobby and Jim Havel from Montgomery, Maryland. They were unable to be here today. Guiding Eyes Gidget was raised by Deb Dick from Maine. She was not able to be here today. Gidget was also raised by Anya Zimmerman from North Carolina. Also not able to be here today. Guiding Eyes Gidget was raised by Raquel Aya from Southwest Connecticut. And last but not least, Gidget was raised by Sherry and Dave Lucier from Southwest Connecticut. Guiding Eyes Nettie was raised by Tonya Cole in the Erie, New York region. Guiding Eyes Tanner was raised by Paul and Cindy Swift from Wayne County, raiser of 30 dogs and RC for over 20 years. also played a huge part in my career as a raiser, so the double Cindys were great. All right. Treble was raised by Daniela Del Busso from Cleveland West. This is her first puppy. Guiding Eyes Yates was raised by the Mayers family from Capital New York. Very exciting. They were not able to join us today. Guiding Eyes Zed was raised by Kevin and Wendy Flynn from Maine. Also raising Zed, Wesley Hutchins from Maine. He was not able to join us today. And from our home training department, first we have Guiding Eyes Enya, who was raised by Susan A. Diet from Delmarva, Delaware. She was not able to be here today. Guiding Eyes Otis was raised by the Trapp family from Southern Connecticut and Cheryl and Don Matchick from Catoctin region. They were not able to be here today. Guiding Eyes Rowan was raised by Yvonne Rugg from Central New York. She was not able to join us today. And finally, Guiding Eyes Vince was raised by Linda Johnson from Virginia Beach, Virginia. She was not able to be here today. All right, so from small beginnings come great things. I would like to introduce you to Willoughby, Watson, and Wynette, 3 of our little W puppies. Who look like they've been sleeping. I believe most of these guys might already be spoken for, but do not worry, we have lots of puppies, and if you would like to raise one, come find me and I can direct you to the appropriate place. These little guys will be available for potographs, as we like to say. After graduation, they will be in the grooming room, which is, if you go out into the hallway and turn left, go all the way down, you will hear them down the hallway. Thank you. All right, so in closing, I had contacted Cindy's sister and asked her what one of Cindy's favorite quotes were, so I'm going to close today with that. Cindy's favorite quote was, "Every day is a gift, and may we all live that." Thank you.
I've unsuccessfully made it through graduation without crying. Just so you know, I'm with you, Veronica. All right. I had the pleasure of meeting Cindy and Stu when I trained their dog, Maddie. So, moving on, as I attempt to do so. Today would not be possible without the incredibly talented staff I've had the pleasure to work with. Alyssa Tilley, Amy DiPaolo, Dan Wiesner have put tremendous work into training these dogs for class. I cannot forget Kim because, well, there'd be a mutiny from several people. Our class instructor's assistant, who, like Kathy said, keeps things rolling. Thank God, because, you know, the 4 of us are bound to forget something. She never does. This team of instructors are dedicated teachers, outstanding listeners. They're calm, they're patient. If you ask the class, perhaps there's a touch of crazy to have put up with them for the last 3 weeks.
They fit right into us.
And that is just a taste. Now, to these teams that sit here before us, your commitment, your determination, the confidence you've shown during class is exceptional. Veronica, I think you read my notes earlier, because it's not unusual that what starts as 12 individuals from around the country and Canada that come here for training will become a close-knit group by the end of 3 weeks. What was unusual about this group is instead of starting as 12 individuals, it was more like 12 long lost friends reuniting. I feel like we've been like a 3-week family reunion with all the games and all the laughter, the stories, the support, reminiscing about days past and adventures that they will go on in the future. And the music. Can't forget the music. No day would be complete without at least a round or two of van pool karaoke. All of you have worked tremendously hard. You've listened to Dan, Amy, Alyssa, Kim, and myself sound like broken records, but you have applied it all, not only while having fun with your classmates, but keeping us in stitches too. So now it is time to present to you your graduation certificates. Starting on my left, Jack Duffy, Portentis, and Adonis. Fatima Claire and Brody. Rocco Fiorentino and Gidget. Mika White and Trouble. Matthew Brown and Tanner. Israel Cazares, Zarita, and Floyd. Veronica Kanya and Apache. Scott Skinner and Zed. Kay Malmquist and Fuji. Joe Fleeks and Yates. Last but certainly not least, Trish Connolly and Nettie. And I remembered to give Bob, Arnold, and Anchor their graduation certificate before they headed home. Now to wrap things up, because, well, you don't want to listen to us talk anymore. You want to meet your graduates, but just a little bit more. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed our graduation and got a small piece of the enjoyment we've gotten out of this class for the last 3 weeks. There will be refreshments available in the dining room once we are wrapped up. It's a gorgeous day outside. This class didn't get a lot of them. Feel free to enjoy the grounds outside. Kim, please stand up. Lovely Kim will be hosting a kennel tour in about 30 minutes. We will make an announcement over both the PA system and, well, running around and just making announcements. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with just a little... That's not what I was going to say. I worked Joe on one of his final workouts the other day. Joe's scared right now. At the end of the walk, Joe quietly said, "I think we're ready now." I took a risk in asking the question, "What are you ready for?" But I did. I said, "Ready for what?" And he boldly answered, "To take on the world." But Joe, I think you got one thing just slightly wrong. You, no, collectively, all of you are ready to conquer the world. Thank you for coming today. Please just give the graduates a moment to get the harness off your dog before you approach to greet them. Thank you.
Dana. Pleasure to meet you in person. Thank you guys for coming so much. Oh my God. You remember them, don't you? Thank you. Do you know he still holds his bowl in his teeth? Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much.